Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 14 is entitled as Gunatraya Vibhaha Yoga, Sloka 20. guṇān etān atītya trīn, dehī deha-samudbhavān, janma-mṛtyu-jarā-duḥkhair, vimukto mṛtam aśnute. This sloka explains what that madbhavam, that is mentioned in the previous sloka. Dehī, the embodied self, deha-samudbhavān, existing in prakriti in the form of the body, etān guṇān, these three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, atītya, transcending, that is realizing oneself as different from the gunas, which are the doers, janma-mṛtyu-jarā-duḥkhair, from birth, death, old age, and the distresses, vimukto, being freed, that is released, mṛtam, nectar. The nectar is nothing but immortal self. Aśnute, attains. Translation: when the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. What we have learned from the previous sloka is that whatever action is done, we do not perform it on our own. The sattva, rajas and tamas makes us undertake it. Hence, the gunas are the doer, not us. What we just said should be realized, not just be a bookish understanding. So one who clearly understands this will attain my state, Krishna said in the previous sloka. Madbhavam sodhi gacchati. Now what we need to know is, what is that madbhavam, my state, that Krishna mentioned in the 19th sloka. The embodied self transcend. Embodied self meaning the atma which is encaged, not engaged, encaged meaning present in the body, transcends the three gunas inherent in prakriti, which has transformed into the body. The body is nothing but prakriti. The prakriti is in a different form as a body. When one transcends the three gunas, he will be released from the birth, death, old age and grief and many other problems, and experiences the immortal self. Self is immortal. Self does not die. Self meaning Atma never dies. We are not able to experience the joy of Atma, self, because of the three gunas, because the Atma is encaged into the Prakriti in the form of body. When the Atma, when the living entity transcends the three gunas, then he will be free of birth, death, old age and grief. That is what meant by attaining my nature. Because the Lord never has to go through birth, death, old age or disease. Similarly, a person, one who transcends the three gunas, will also never has to go through any of these things, namely birth, death, old age and grief. We learned clearly from the previous sloka, when Krishna says attaining my nature or state, it doesn't mean aikya. Aikyam means oneness, becoming one with the Lord. It is not to become God, not that we are God now and being illusioned. And when the illusion is gone, we can identify ourselves to be God. That is not the philosophy is being taught here by Krishna. It is about attaining certain qualities of Krishna. That's all. Of course, we have discussed these subjects quite few times in previous chapters. So this should not be a new subject for one who's been hearing Bhagavad Gita for some time now. And another point that we should be very clear by now is that the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, are always present in the Mula Prakriti. It's not an add-on to the Prakriti. And the Prakriti subsequent variation, the things that get produced from the Mula Prakriti, also inherit the gunas. So, the body that we all carry is another variation of that Mula Prakriti. That means the gunas are always present within this body as well. Due to the differences in the intake of food by each individual, the gunas varies its levels, and of course also by the karma that one carries. Each of these gunas has its own unique power. We learned that also in this chapter. Each of them differ from other two. What sattva guna has, rajoguna and tamoguna does not have that power. What rajoguna has, sattva guna and tamoguna does not have that power. And what tamoguna has, sattva guna and rajoguna does not have that. So each of these gunas are unique by itself, having certain strength. That strength, the power of each gunas, gets exhibited when that respective guna dominates. And we know very well when the gunas become dominating. It's based on one's previous karma and the current food intake habits. When that guna becomes prominent at a given point of time, it triggers the living entities to do certain action. From this, it is very clear the living entity does certain good deeds or bad just because of it being entangled into the body which has these three gunas. If the living entity doesn't have the body, meaning totally released forever from obtaining the body, then there will be no such influence of gunas. Therefore, one who understands this theory, that in reality the actions are done by the gunas, I am not the doer, it is the gunas which does them. I, Atma, is naturally free from the influence of these gunas. But due to my karma, I am being rewarded with this body, with three gunas. They do their job to trigger me based on my karma and intake of food. Therefore, I must be very careful not to get influenced by these gunas and get triggered to perform action dictated by the gunas. When one able to transcend the influence of the gunas with this understanding is considered to be conqueror of the three gunas, and such person will see the Atma eye to eye, and such person will be free from the miseries caused by birth, death, old age. In that stage, he will enjoy his self and be eternally blissful. Prabhupada in his purport says he can enjoy the happiness of spiritual life even in this body, because after leaving this body he is certainly going to the spiritual sky. But even in this body he can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the sign of liberation from material entanglement. So, the reason for the living entity to suffer is because of lack of this understanding and realization, compared to those who have understood and realized, who are happy all the time. This is what Krishna meant by mṛtam, attains my state, that is, free from the sufferings of this world and being happy forever. When Arjuna heard this, his level of curiosity increased further, and he wants to know where he himself stands. He wants to know if he has transcended these gunas or he is still under the control of these gunas. Therefore, he inquires about the characteristics of one who has transcended the gunas and how one goes beyond the gunas. By knowing this, he can gauge himself where he stands currently. So in the next sloka, Arjuna is going to open up this question on our behalf, because what we are learning here is to see ourselves where we stand, how we can transcend. So let Arjuna ask his question in the 21st sloka, and we will learn the answers from Krishna, starting 22nd sloka. guṇān etān atītya trīn, dehī deha-samudbhavān, janma-mṛtyu-jarā-duḥkhair, vimukto mṛtam aśnute. Namaste. Hare Krishna.